What is going on, everybody, and welcome back into Valley Studios. Now today in the studio we're going to be working on an awesome acrylic on canvas painting. This is a master touch canvas here, and it's a deep well canvas. I also have already painted the outside edges of this in a beautiful rich ivory black, and I also will come out in the very last stages right before the actual varnishing process, and I will go ahead and touch that up just to kind of shape it up and make sure it's nice, crisp, and clean. Now, before I get into the nitty-gritty of the actual painting itself and when we really get into the actual process and have fun, just so you know, throughout the year I will kind of send out reference photos of paintings that I may be interested to family members, like a group text, and I say, hey, look, is anybody interested in any of these forms of art for their homes? And if they are, then I'll kind of prioritize that item because I can create it real quick and give it to them. So my mother was the only one who was really interested in this or a pumpkin reference photo that I had sent out. I was like, all right, cool. Well, I thought I was going to have it done before fall of 2024. That did not happen. Of course, it's now December, almost near Christmas, and I really didn't lock down and really begin cracking down on this painting until like the beginning few weeks of December. So I've probably painted this whole process in about a week or so. And I really do take my time here in the studio, so if you're like, well, man, that video is really long, he took a lot of hours to paint something very simplistic. Well, it's not as simplistic as you may think. It's not just painting it and then just go. I'm applying a lot of layers to this and a lot of detail and a lot of depth, right? So she was the only one who was interested in it, and I was like, all right, so let's go ahead and get it done. Now I want to go ahead and get this out of the studio so I can make room for some other art projects here on my canvas painting station. And I'm really excited for that. One of them will be a polar bear, as a spoiler alert. So stay tuned for that on the YouTube channel. I have a few other ones like different flowers and things like that coming out as well. So that's right. So I've already gone ahead and I've base coated it. We've already applied a little bit of a gold leaf background there, as you can see, and we also went ahead and kind of laid out the shadows of our pumpkins in a ultramarine blue. You don't really have to do that, but it does allow you to get in your mind's eye how the overall painting is going to lay out. I'm keeping things very dark overall, and I am working from dark to light, and then I'll work back into darks in the final stages. But most in general here, the focal point of this entire painting here, you would think it would be the orange pumpkin. No, it's not. It's actually this nice olive pumpkin down here. This pumpkin right here is the showpiece. It's the winning pig, right? So this is the one that we're focusing on. If you want to put like the best beats in front, put those money beats out front. Those are the money beats. Dwight Schrute reference if you don't know already. The Office. Okay, all right. So here we are with this beautiful olive pumpkin here, and I also gave it a little bit of a yellow tinge on those upper highlights where the light could be possibly cascading down. We're not adding light to this painting, but the simulated light would be coming in from this direction if we were to think of it that way. We come in with the orange mainly for this pumpkin here, and this one right here is mostly a yellow ochre. It's a yellow ochre pumpkin, and it's also darkened out, so it kind of sets itself back a little bit into this nice dark background here. Well, whether or not the background is something specific to you is up to the viewer, but you could think about this as like the edges of a forest, the upper sky of a darkening field, maybe at twilight. But ever so often as your light would hit this canvas in a hallway or in a living room, you'll see parts of this gold leaf shining through my paints and my overlays of paint and a few washes and inks. So we put a lot of gold leaf on there for texture, but then a lot of that texture gets kind of washed out, and then you only see that texture sometimes when you're up close, unless I go over it with a highlight, which we will do in its final stages. But this painting is reaching almost the end game stages here. I have a little bit more work to do on the upper highlights here, as well as maybe a little bit darkening right here. The darkness around the bottom of the pumpkins here, I'm really happy with. I love how I have this right here, and this has a little bit of a different texture than the smooth texture on the bottom of this pumpkin. And then over here you see there's a little bit of splotching where you can see I use that palette knife. So we'll pull out the palette knife. And then I have this nice kind of like just swiped a horizontal effect with the paintbrush here at the very bottom with a little bit of Naples yellow, but it also has a little bit of gold leaf in there. So we're going to be very detailed not to cover that up. We're going to come in here in a minute and we're going to go ahead and apply some more of these rich red colors to this kind of like, I want to make it a flattened kind of field leaf effect. And then we may apply a few sprigs of like a dried perhaps straw or something like that down here at the very bottom before we kind of finish out some like major massive highlights here. I do believe I'm going to apply just a very thick like palette knife swipe to each individual highlighted upper raised rib of each individual pumpkin. But I'm really happy with how it turns out so far. Let's go ahead and get to the painting part. All right, you guys, so here is awesome pumpkin trio painting. Now, it turned out absolutely awesome. It probably took me about a week or so, about 11 sessions, you know, those sessions running maybe even anything from 10 minutes to 30-minute long sessions to create this awesome painting here. Now, it is, of course, pumpkin trio because we do have 3 pumpkins in this awesome little painting here. We also have a really great texture background, and it has also gold leaf inlaid in the overall painting. A lot of that's covered up, and it creates like a nice thick textured layer throughout the whole process. We also, again, used the palette knife to create this awesome little painting here. And we also made the distinct leaf, packed down leaf effect in the foreground. I have given this a clear coat or a varnishing layer. Now, I use Winsor & Newton can varnish for this. Now, I used a gloss, and it turned out absolutely spectacular. I usually don't use a whole lot of gloss varnishes in the studio, but I think it really gave it a really great effect. Now, just remember that because we do have the gold leaf in this overall painting here, sometimes you will see different lighting elements, gold, silvers, hitting this depending on how the light is, whether it's cool or warm. If you would like prints of this, I will be offering prints on Pictorum.com. You can always check that out. Just search my name, John Byerly, for any of the prints that I offer, whether it's photography or if it's actual paintings themselves. If you would like an original, make sure you reach out to me through Etsy or through my email at byerlystudios@gmail.com. Otherwise, you guys, I'm exceptionally happy with how this turned out. The next painting in the studio will be the painting of these foxes here, and I am almost midway through that process before we actually start in with the baby foxes as well as the mother fox. Super excited for that. That's supposed to be more so a representation of my family here in our house. Again, guys, I think this thing turned out absolutely phenomenal, and I'm really happy with the overall texture that I was able to achieve with the palette knife for this painting. Let me know in the description below how you think this painting turned out. I will catch you guys on the next awesome painting here in the studio. Peace!